for the introduction, Kent, and hello everyone. That's pretty much my introduction as well. I'm an osteopath and I work at THUJA Wellness, and I work with a team of health professionals here. So we specialize in women's health and pregnancy, but we see everyone, all ages, all genders, with anything from headaches, back pain, sports injuries, so the whole lot. But today's presentation is about posture and busting some of the myths around posture. So these are the topics that we'll cover. What is posture and why is it important? What is the correct posture for sitting and standing? And why is movement so important? And what injuries can occur and how can you prevent them? All right. So I hope you find this educational and interesting today, and it will be a little bit interactive, and as we go I'm going to ask you to answer some questions. So I guess you can either answer with your voice, or you can, I think we've got access, is there a chat that we can answer in as well? There might be access to a chat.
Yeah, it's just at the bottom if you hit chat.
Yeah, great, excellent. So either way I'll get you to answer a few questions as we go. Excellent, and there'll be time at the end for questions if anyone has any other questions or things that I haven't covered. All right, so let's get started. As an osteopath, I look at posture all day long when I'm assessing my patients. Posture refers to the way in which we hold ourselves in space. There are many different types of posture that we can adopt, and they all serve a particular purpose. Our posture is unique to us. It can be determined by our genetics, injuries, neurological conditions, repetitive movements and loads that we place on our body over time. Our posture requires muscle strength as well as bones, ligaments, joints and nerves to be functioning well. All right, so the first question is the spine straight? So I'll get you to either answer in the chat, or you can, so just a yes or no answer. So
no.
Great. Let me see, I'm not sure if I can see the chat in this screen. All right, well, I'll just assume that you've all answered it. The answer is no, the spine is not straight, even though a lot of people think it is. And this is a bit of a trick question because I'm talking about the spine from side on. So it's not straight. And as you can see from this diagram, that we have an S-shaped spine. So there's a lordotic curve in the neck and in the lower back, as well as a kyphotic curve in the upper back. So a lot of people still assume that our spine is straight, but actually it's not. So that's the first myth to be busted. Everyone's spine is slightly different. And this S-shaped design acts like a spring to allow us to absorb shock, maintain balance, and have good range of motion. It also helps us to breathe. In fact, as we breathe in, the spine compresses like a slinky. And as we breathe out, it actually lengthens. And the spine is quite robust and strong. However, over time, we lose space between the bones in the spine, the vertebrae, and the curves can change over time. They can become a bit more exaggerated. And this is just a normal part of aging that will happen to everyone. And the spine also changes during pregnancy, just to allow a mother to be able to carry a baby. So that brings us to the next slide. What is the best standing posture? I'm sure you've all been told at one point in your life to stand up tall, put your shoulders back, push your chest forward, basically stand like a soldier. I'll actually get you all to try this now. You can even, if you've got space, stand up and try this posture. So I'm going to get you to try two different postures. I told you it was a little bit interactive. So basically, I'm just going to undo this. Get you to stand in that posture. So chest out, standing up, like a soldier, and I'll get you to take a deep breath in and out from this position. And just take notice of how you feel. And then I'll get you to soften your jaw, soften your upper abdomen, soften your knees, turn your thumbs to face forward, and I'll get you to just relax your posture a bit and then take a deep breath in and out. And just take notice of how it feels, the difference between the first posture where you're standing really rigid and holding it really tight, to the second posture where you're a little bit more relaxed through the jaw, through the tummy, through the knees, and through the arms. And I'll get you, you can sit back down now. Which one felt more comfortable?
I'm going to say the second.
The second?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the second one felt more comfortable too.
Yeah.
I wanted to chest breathe when I was really rigid, but with the second one, I was more abdominal naturally.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the second one, the first one is the traditional posture that most people are told is the best posture, that we should stand in that position with our shoulders back. But actually, it's a very energy, it uses a lot of energy. A lot of people find it's quite difficult to breathe because you're holding in really tight, your abdominal muscles are really tight. And the second posture is actually a more natural way of standing. So an upright, relaxed posture is actually a more comfortable, easier posture if you're standing for longer periods of time. So yeah, a lot of people actually think the first one is the correct one, but it's the second one. Yeah. Let me just find where I'm up to. All right. So that was the second myth to be busted, that there is actually not one perfect posture or one ideal posture. It's actually the best posture when standing is actually that relaxed upright posture that allows you to easily transition between different postures. And this is when you're using a little bit of muscle input in a way that it is efficient. We're not leaning too far forward, in which case our muscles are having to fight against gravity to hold us upright. So we should think tall, where we've evolved to be upright animals. So our head should be comfortably above our shoulders, our arms by our sides. The upper abdomen should be relaxed so that we can create a good breath, and the knees should be slightly bent as well. And you should feel like you don't need to tense to hold a posture. You should feel fairly relaxed and comfortable in that position. All right. So what is the best posture when sitting? So a lot of people have recently transitioned to working from home and may have a different work station or work setup. You may be sitting on a different chair or working from the kitchen table. You may not have access to your stand-up desk anymore. So the same rule applies when you're sitting. A relaxed upright posture is best. You should be close enough to the screen if you're working on a laptop or a computer that you're not having to lean forward and that it's at eye level. Your seat should be high enough so your shoulders aren't lifting up and elevating and you're not leaning on your desk. And your hips should be above your knee height so that your hips are also relaxed and your feet are flat on the ground. So you've got a nice base of support basically. But again, it's more about finding a relaxed, comfortable position that you can hold for a longer period of time, and you're able to still breathe and you're not tensing to hold it. So that, again, the same rule applies when you're sitting. Your sitting posture should be that relaxed, more upright, comfortable posture. All right. However, no matter how good your ergonomic setup is while you're sitting, if you don't move and change position regularly, you can still develop pain or injury. So question number 2. This is not a trick question. I'm sure everyone will get this one right. Have you seen a child sit or stand and do they stay still?
No.
No, they don't. That was an easy one. So no, they continuously move, readjust their position. As adults, we ideally should be doing the same thing. In normal daily life, we get very good at sitting, bending forwards, looking down. A lot of our daily tasks are in front of us. We don't do a lot of twisting, side bending, extending, reaching, looking up. And like the saying goes, if you don't use it, you will lose it. And this is why when we want our body to do these movements that we don't do regularly, we can develop injuries because we aren't conditioned to do them. So posture should ideally be seen as a dynamic thing. Our body is not designed to hold one posture for a long period of time. The human body is designed to be moved and used regularly in all different ways and have fluidity to the movement. This is why when we spend long periods of time sitting or standing in one position, we do start to develop strain. And then eventually the brain may decide that we need to feel pain. And this pain is a protective mechanism that then makes us move to prevent injury from occurring. And when we move, our joints actually create a synovial fluid, which helps to lubricate them and keep them healthy. Our muscles contract and relax, and the forces that we put on our tendons, ligaments, and bones help to keep them strong and healthy. Our brain and limbs create good communication pathways through the nerves, and our blood flow improves. So that's why movement is so important. So the next slide, I've just got these are just some practical tips to increase movement and exercise throughout the day. So I guess the main point that I'm making is that posture isn't the main focus, and maintaining or thinking about having an ideal posture shouldn't be the main focus. It's more about movement and how can you increase that movement, and that's where the focus should be. So these are some ways, and I'm sure everyone could come up with some other ideas, but this is just a few that I use or recommend in the clinic. So just having regular breaks when you're working. So particularly if you're at a desk, using your sit to stand desk, trying to put it up and down every 30 to 60 minutes is really important, or going for a walk to get some water, moving around, but just making sure you're repositioning yourself and changing how you're moving and holding your body, basically. Walking to and from work if you can, or if you're working from home, that's a bit difficult. Having active meetings, that's something that I've been trying to do. If I'm meeting up with someone, going for a walk rather than going to have a coffee, or if I'm on the phone, going for a walk while I'm talking to somebody. Mindful breathing as well is really important, and that was the last workshop that Symmetrix had, so that's so useful for reducing tension, increasing the movement in your body. Walking, exercising during your lunch break, and then also seeing a qualified trainer for a really specific program, or joining a class where you're getting lots of varied movement, strength work, flexibility work. You're using your body in all different ways, and then they're able to give you advice on how you can do it from home, or do it during the week as well when you're not seeing them. So there are really some of the few ways that you can increase movement in your day, and that's the most important thing. Excellent. So question number 3, does posture cause back pain? And this
probably over time.
Like incorrect posture, poor posture can cause back pain.
So this is a trick question, this one. All right. So the answer is actually posture, no, does not cause back pain, but lack of movement and fear of moving in a particular way or requiring our body to do things that it's not conditioned to, that is what causes injury and pain. Posture alone does not. And that's probably the biggest myth to be busted today, because a lot of people think that it's posture that will cause their pain, but it's actually lack of movement that will cause the biggest issues, and not using our bodies in all different ways and conditioning it to be able to respond and react to different situations. So that's really important. All right, so what injuries may present due to lack of movement? In most sedentary lifestyles where there is lack of regular movement and increased sitting, we find people tend to have tight and short muscles in the front of their body and weak muscles in the back, causing an imbalance. And as an osteopath, these are 3 common complaints that I see in the clinic that can be attributed to lack of movement a lot of the time. That's the biggest cause or biggest contributing factor. While an osteopath can treat these conditions, we find prevention is always better than treating something once it's a bigger issue. And it is much easier to listen to your body when it whispers rather than when it screams at you. So here are 3 ways to reduce your risk of injury. So number 1, regular movement and exercise. Motion is lotion is a saying that I got from a course that I did a year or so ago, and I think it's great. It's so important. When we move, it's really like we're lubricating our joints and we're actually making them really healthy and strong. So movement is super important, whether it's just incidental exercise during the day, or whether it's more structured, seeing a trainer, having a program done. Both are just as important, and the more frequent, the better. And then number 2, maintain a relaxed posture and be able to breathe comfortably in that posture. So a relaxed upright posture is the best posture to have, and then to be able to have a comfortable breath when you're in that posture, and be able to transition from different postures is a really good thing. And then number 3 is to listen to your body. So seeking help early is always the best option. So if you start to feel a bit niggly or tired, or things aren't not moving as comfortably as you normally would, then go and see your trainer, your osteo, your physio, kinesiologist, whoever it is, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction. But yes, it's always better before you get to the point where you've got a bad headache or you've got acute back pain. It's always better to seek that help before then. So they're the 3 key ways to help to reduce your risk of injury. All right, so these are the key points from today. I'm just going to summarize the main points that I wanted to cover. So number 1, your spine is not straight. It's a beautiful S-shaped curve that we want to try and maintain, and it does change with age, and that's a normal thing. So yeah, being aware of that. Your posture is unique to you, and your posture naturally changes with age. And the best posture is a relaxed, upright posture where you can breathe comfortably with it. Posture does not cause back pain. Lack of movement can cause back pain. And healthy movement is very important for preventing injury. So they're the main points from the information that I've covered. And this is a picture of the clinic that I work from, THUJA. So I'm here at the moment. I've just finished for the day, and some references. And that's all the information that I have. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Anything about osteopathy, injuries, posture, women's health, hiking, anything.
I'll jump in there and just say thanks so much, Kaitlin. That was such a good presentation, very well delivered, and I learned a lot. So thanks so much for taking the time today and putting that all together. Thanks for everybody who's on the call right now. And yeah, it's really great to see here that you've taken a moment on this rainy afternoon to join us. And yeah, I do have a question, but I'll save it till later.
Yeah. And thanks for everyone who has joined. I didn't say that at the start. It's yeah, it's good to see some new faces and faces that I already know.